Hey guys, for those who don't know, my name is Kelly. I am a Reiki master. I do shamanic healing, crystal healing, make orgone energy generators, and I wrote a couple of books. I wrote a book on transhumanism that I put out last year, and my first book, which I'm going to be referring to the material in today, is called Synergy, a Modern Healer's Guide to Complete Bioenergy Wellness, all about healing the energy body. And in my book, I talk about all kinds of ways to get in touch with energy and work with energy and heal yourself using energy. And today, I actually wanted to share a personal experience of doing my own soul retrieval. Um, this is something that I can facilitate for my clients, but of course, I'm my own first client. I work on myself all the time, and that's how I've learned how to do this. Is I took classes and then have been practicing on my own and working on my own healing and soul retrieval. And I had a very interesting and even kind of funny soul retrieval story from this morning. So I thought I would share it with you guys. It has like a little bit of everything. It has animal medicine and even a little 80s nostalgia. And I like to tell these stories too, because you can compare it to something in your life and learn a little bit more about soul retrieval and how the process works. So for those who don't know, shaman have practiced soul retrieval all over the world for a very long time before the Roman church came in and tried to, shut down indigenous spiritual practices to replace it with their religions. But of course, there's still shaman practicing all over the world, and the core shamanism is like the core practices they all share. And there's of course, cultural differences based on where in the world the practice originates from. But yeah, many shaman have done a practice called soul retrieval. And what this means is that when we have a trauma in our life, a piece of our energy will leave and go to the non ordinary realms to get healing. It's just like what's going on in the reality is not working for this soul piece, so it leaves to go get what it needs elsewhere. So that's why after you suffer a trauma, you may feel like depleted on energy and depressed and all that. And part of that is because a part of your sacred essence energy has left you. And so you can, possibly get soul pieces to come back on their own just by transforming your life, by fixing the problem that caused them to leave, by having a better environment for them. Um, and you can also, visit a practitioner like myself who can facilitate the process of going into the non ordinary realms via a trance journey and connecting with those soul pieces. And so I do this for myself a lot. I journey as often as I can. If I'm very busy, I may not get to journey for days here and there, but as long as I have the time, I try to journey every day. And it's just my way of like getting in touch with my soul and taking care of myself. And it's like my daily spiritual bath is just my journey. And sometimes I go in with an intention, and sometimes I just wait to see what shows up, because when you do this work, sometimes beings will show up and want to work with you. So that's pretty cool. And I work with spirit animals also, because if you know of the law of one and shamanism, the concepts are closely related, that everything is connected. So it's like everything's alive. Animals, plants, the earth, fire, water, they're all alive and have a soul energy. And in shamanism, yeah, you work with animals, and what animals are wonderful for is to connect you with soul pieces. So typically, when I journey, I have like maybe 3 or 4 animals I work with a lot, and a new one showed up today, and with this particular soul piece that came back, it's a pretty cool story. So let's get to it. So this morning I go into my journey. I wasn't really sure what I was going to work on. I had an idea though that I wanted to maybe do some inner child work and work with healing my inner child. So I just kind of had that loose intention. And then I was so super surprised by the animal that showed up in my journey, and it was a peacock. And I've never seen a peacock in my journey before, so I was a little surprised. I was like, "Oh," I was like, "Hi," like this beautiful peacock, and I was like, "Do you asked if it had a soul piece to connect me to?" So I go with the peacock. We go into the world tree, and it takes me to two of my soul pieces that are in the non-ordinary realms in a magical garden, and one of the soul pieces was this piece of my little girl. And I bet this piece came back because I was actually just thinking about this recently. So when I was a little girl in the 1980s, this next part isn't very funny, or it wasn't at the time at least. I got bullied a lot at school. So I was constantly made fun of and humiliated at my school, and it made me very sad, and I would cry in the bathroom a lot, and it gave me very low self-esteem. And but I was very into fashion even at that young age. I loved clothes. I loved shopping. The 80s, if you are old enough to remember, like I loved like Esprit and Benetton and all those brands. And I remember exactly how old I was. I may have been about 9 years old or somewhere around there. But I remember I was looking at the J.C. Penney's catalog, and there was this outfit in there. It was very wild because it was the 80s, and we wore a lot of like bright colors and big chunky belts and wild patterns. And there was this outfit in the JCPenney catalog for little girls that I just thought was so cool. And I still remember the outfit. It was this like pullover jumpsuit in this black and white, like wild and crazy pattern. This like crazy wild pattern, like full body jumpsuit that you pulled up to here. And I think it may have had a little t-shirt that went underneath, no conflicting pattern, and it had a big wide yellow belt. And I remember I bought this outfit, and I like thought I was gonna be so cool and fashionable at school in my new outfit from the JCPenney catalog. And I wore it to school, and oh yeah, the dog agrees. I wore it to school and totally got made fun of. Like, these girls just ripped my outfit to pieces because it was a little different. And I was heartbroken, and I remember I was like crying in the bathroom, and I was humiliated. And I never wore that outfit again. Like, that was the only time I wore that outfit. I was too embarrassed to ever wear it again. And when I got older, I mean, and when you go through that kind of bullying and hazing every day for years, you actually, the positive thing of that is you start to not really care what people think about you. Like, I remember I saw David Icke's documentary Renegade, and he said the reason he's so outspoken about stuff is that he got made fun of so badly after he went on that TV show in the 90s, the Terry something show, I don't remember, but he got made fun of so badly in the streets of England. Everyone was mocking him that he just didn't care anymore. He just didn't care what people thought, and he said whatever he wanted. And I honestly feel the same way about my life and how I was treated in my childhood. Is that when I got older, I stopped caring, and I just wore whatever I wanted. And I started, people who knew me in high school, yeah, I dressed a little crazy in high school too, and I didn't care then. But when I was a little girl, I was still trying to fit in, and I was very hurt by this. So anyway, back to the soul retrieval. So I go into the non-ordinary realms, and there is the girl in her crazy outfit. And I think that because I was thinking about her recently and sending her love and thinking about that outfit, and for my oracle card reading on Instagram today, the card I pulled was called Home, and it's about feeling comfortable in your own skin and feeling like you have a community and feeling safe to express yourself authentically. And so because of all these things, because I acknowledge that today, that we need to feel comfortable in our own skin, and because I was thinking about that piece of myself recently, she was ready to come back. So my little girl who had left because she got made fun of for her crazy outfit came back, and who brought her back but a beautiful peacock. And what do peacocks stand for? They're they're different. They have beauty. They express themselves differently. Like peacocks don't look like any other bird. They're their own thing. But you can't say to a peacock like, "Hey, take all your crazy feather tail off and just be like the other birds," because they can't. They're a peacock. And so that's why the peacock came today, to connect me with that soul piece. And I just thought it was such a funny and beautiful little story that I would share. And it can also kind of give you guys an idea about this practice if you're not familiar with it. And if you want to learn more, I would definitely get my book, because there's a whole chapter on soul retrieval in my book. And if you want to book a session with me, I would love to work with you. You can do that at the Energy Healing Services tab at my website, wuwwoman.com. So I hope you liked my little story today. Have a good one.